we've got here is failure to communicate. Some people you just can't reach. And I don't like it any more than you.
With all the information at our fingertips, how can we, the people, come out of the information age and into the accountability age? Welcome to our Taboo Talk Show, where we're bringing everybody together in like this bullpen where we can have like some hot topic discussions about what's going on today in the world. And people here will be able to be on our debate game show down the road. So we're here to talk about the hot topics of the Times Weekly, and I'm your host, the Jster, Jay Cohen. And today is we're live tonight. It's May 12th, 2021. A lot of things going on. Okay, everybody, grab your pens and paper, your notepads. Put your oven mitts on, and let's get ready for some of the hot topics of the day. So today on the list of things, the hot topics are Mother's Day above and below the border, which we'll get into, trumping a dead horse in Arizona, federal charges on Chauvin is been released last week, ousting of Liz Cheney, the end of the GOP, is that possible? Elon Musk was on SNL, the Dodge father of Bitcoin, and other things going on. Let's see here. Let me go around the room real quick and check in with everybody and say hello and see if you guys have, I don't know if you have a hot minute. We have our timer on there. If you look over there on the live feed, you have a timer there. And we'll introduce everybody and then go ahead and take a hot minute to explain whatever hot topics are on your mind for today. But first, let me just go around and say hello to everybody. Vlad, good to see you again. Haven't seen you in a while. You're calling from Quebec, Canada. Is that correct? All right, I can't hear you yet. All right, we'll come back to you, Vlad. Okay, Marvin, welcome. It was nice to see you yesterday. You got the Our World Peace Park going on, and some of this might be a fundraiser for you for your organization tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And you're in California, and welcome back to the call. And I'll come right back to you. Anthony, welcome to the call. You're a screenwriter and a comedian, and you're a former therapist. And thank you for making it to the call. How are things in Alabama?
We have advanced to 1943, so we're just a little bit behind, but we're working on it slowly. We're taking down the signs on the water fountains right now, so we're working on it.
Keep pedaling for that energy, sir. Keep pedaling.
That's right. We're not worried about the gas shortage. We haven't got cars yet. We all ride horses still.
Harley, welcome to the show, Harley. And you're in where are you at again? Iowa?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it right this time. Okay, Iowa. And you're in college over there, right? University?
Yeah, yep. I'm in a community college in Fort Dodge.
Nice. Cool. All right, let's see here. Vlad, do you have your mic?
Check one.
Okay,
check.
Good. Perfect.
Okay.
Timing. Yes, Vlad, welcome to the show.
Headphones.
Yeah, just
Thank you.
add them to the collection.
Yes.
Vlad's from Quebec, Canada, or living in Quebec?
Montreal.
Montreal. My bad. And welcome back to the show. It's been a little while. So we're going to go ahead and, what was that? God bless.
Vlad can drink because he's got that free health care. Look at him, just gloating in our faces.
We have no freedom. We have no freedom here. We have no freedom. We have no freedom in Canada. Zero freedom. We're all oppressed.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't have bald eagles there.
That's right.
His doctor told him today, every day. No. So, welcome to the show. Now that we've said hi to everybody, Anthony, you got a hot topic that we can last a minute here to say what's going on that we haven't discussed, that we haven't thrown on the table yet.
How about I'm about throwing a few that'll last a minute. I'm looking forward to the GOP. They're threatening to form, some of them are threatening to break off and form their own party. So I'd like to suggest to them the name the Fourth Reich. That should work out perfectly for them. The third was used up. I'm tired of us calling Liz Cheney courageous because she told the truth. That should be the expectation. That should not require courage. So I'm tired of listening to that crap already. And the last one, I'm going to jump all over me for being a selfish, arrogant American with no perspective. I've watched the battle between Palestine and Israel my entire life and never gave it any real attention. And now I was hired by a filmmaker in Israel to write a script, and I communicate with them regularly. And for the first time, I had to communicate with someone who's being actively bombed. And it affected my life. And I felt like crap because this has been going on forever, and it never fazed me until I had someone sitting on the other end of a Zoom call, and they could potentially die from a bomb as I'm speaking to them. So I'm disgusted by my American arrogance and selfishness.
It's insane what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
Okay, Marvin, you have a hot minute you want to share with what's going on in your life or in the world? 1 hot minute for you.
No, I'm just going to listen. It's very sad what's going on in the world, and it really bothers me that there's so much hate going on. And they say pursuit of happiness, and all these people are pursuing hate. It's easier to start a hate group than it is a peace movement, and that's sad.
That's some true words right there, my friend. True words coming from somebody that wants to create our world peace park. Harley.
All right. So I have a couple topics that I want to discuss, but for my hot minute, I actually want to talk about trans participation in sports, because that's something that I got talking about today, and I was a little bit upset about it. So basically, there's several states around the United States that are banning trans female athletes from competing in women's sports, specifically trans female athletes, because that's all anybody cares about for some reason. And to be quite honest, I don't understand what the big deal is. I mean, trans athletes usually have to undergo at least a year of hormone therapy before then, and they have to have their hormone levels within a certain range. And so by that point, any perceived advantages such as muscle mass and bone structure should have changed. That's all I got to say. You can move on to whoever's next.
I just want to say this, that everything has been being promoted recently by Caitlyn Jenner, who's running for the governor of California. And he's the one, or she's the one, who said that men should not be participating in female sports because they're...
We don't claim her. We don't claim her.
That's part of the situation, what's going on.
Right.
And I think up until he started saying that...
It's she.
It's a she. She started saying that the men that transgender, they shouldn't be participating with the females because their body shape is different than etc.
Right.
Okay.
Which isn't totally true.
He'll drink to that.
Vlad, everyone in Canada is transgender, aren't they? Tell us about that.
Well, I mean, we don't see gender. I mean, it's a spectrum. It's really spectrum, and we just had our census here, and you had, what gender do you identify with? and it was basically you fill in, like you type it in. It was that flexible here. So yeah, I mean, we're very, very cool on that. Like we have no real like hang-ups about that.
Good job, Canada.
Yes,
Yeah, I know.
they're ahead on another social issue as usual.
Well,
That-
I mean, we have legalized cannabis here for now 2.5 years. And you know what? Nothing has changed. The government is making money. People are lining up at the stores. Everybody's buying government weed, and it's not bad. And, you know, I don't understand why Biden won't get off his ass and do something about it. Why? I mean, you have, 24 states now have it legalized medically at least? And how many recreationally? I don't know, 20 recreationally. So you're almost above the majority. And it's time they take it off Schedule 1. This is ridiculous. It is ridiculous because you could grow hemp. Hemp is amazing. You could. I have a friend who's trying to decannabify the stalks so they can make it into textiles, which would be amazing because there's a lot of waste. They have to burn it. Imagine if that becomes paper or clothing. So I think Biden should get moving with that agenda.
Well, you know, over here, I'll speak for all of America, Vlad. We're very cautious because we over here in America, we've legalized alcohol, and we're too busy combating drunk driving and all the pain and suffering that comes from alcohol. We don't want to introduce something nearly as dangerous as cannabis, because I imagine maybe 2 or 3 people die a year due to cannabis, where we're trying to get rid of hundreds of thousands of people a year with alcohol. That's how stupid we are. Of course, we should legalize cannabis. Alcohol, if alcohol is legal, why shouldn't cocaine be legal? All of it, let it all be legal. And I think a few countries have done that, where they've decriminalized all drugs, and it turned out that and treated it as a mental health issue, addiction, and they have seen great results with it. So as usual, America's backwards and behind the curve.
Yeah, thought about that a long time ago. Just open it
Well,
up.
not with the vaccine. Not with the vaccine. You guys are not. You guys are really ahead of the curve with the vaccine. Congratulations. You guys get first place. First place.
We have so many vaccines. We got people refusing to take it. It's amazing.
You know, I don't know why Biden's being put down so much. He's only been in office less than 3 months, and he's accomplished a hell of a lot of stuff. And when people start to put him down for not getting around to cannabis or not getting around to this or that, I think it's sad, because he, you know, the pandemic is under control.
Right.
If we still had Trump in office, we'd have 1 million people dead, maybe 2 million, and drinking Clorox instead of taking vaccines. You know, it's really sad situation. And unfortunately, I'm afraid that in America, we're going to have another civil war before Biden leaves office. I think there's going to be another civil war.
Yeah, and I want to make clear, I wasn't criticizing Biden. I was criticizing all the presidents for the last 20 or 30 years who have failed to legalize cannabis. Biden's doing a great job. I think he's doing fantastic. And he's doing a lot of things behind the scenes, eliminating a lot of the Trump crap, like LGBTQ discrimination.
Right.
He's eliminated that. He's trying to change the tax rates for corporations back to not even what it was, just half of the difference. He's trying to tax people. So everything, I don't see anything that he's doing wrong. It's just he can't do everything at once. So yeah, my criticism was over just leadership over the last 20 or 30 years over this whole cannabis issue and that type of thing. And Harley and I, along with the 2 morons, discussed it on Thread about vaccination and should it be mandatory and that type of thing for hours the other night. So it's amazing that we couldn't wait to get a vaccine, and now we and now we can't. Right. We got people lined up saying they're not going to take it. We're not going to take the vaccine. And it's just it's ridiculous.
Well, I got my vaccine shot. I'm shot, and I'll show you a picture of that in a little bit. But Speaking of, it's a nice segue when you talk about Trump there, bringing up that because we're talking about Mother's Day. Mother's Day was just happened on.
Wait, is now you're considering Trump your mother?
No, it's a mother
Oh my
flower.
God.
No, Mother's Day was on Sunday, and then I saw a little flurry from some comedian about Monday being a Confederate Memorial Day.
Yes.
So Mother's Day is also is celebrated south of the border, if you didn't know, in Mexico and El Salvador and Guatemala. Mother's Day is celebrated on May 10th each year. Areas with large Mexican communities in the United States, such as California and New Mexico, may celebrate Mother's Day today on that day rather than on the Sunday. So the second Sunday of May. So it was interesting though, but I did notice that there was a Confederate Memorial Day on the Monday, and that was introduced this year to be celebrated. And so, yeah, talking about the divide and talking about the hate and talking about all that we have, it's so fresh and so current today that they're bringing up a new legal holiday to celebrate Confederate Memorial Day. It's crazy.
Some people are proud of being losers.
Go ahead. You have anything to say about that, Anthony?
Yeah, some people are proud of being losers. It seems it's a lot of the GOP and the Trump tards and those people. They like to celebrate the Confederacy. They lost that. They love the Confederate. Celebrate the Nazis. They lost that. They like to celebrate segregation. They lost that. They're a bunch of losers, and we need to make sure we point that out when we're talking to them, because for some reason they believe it makes them more American that they were Confederate. The Confederates fought Americans. They fought America. So that you can't be less American than trying to kill Americans. So yeah, we want to make sure we point that out to those idiots every time they try to brag about what their heritage. If your heritage is a loser, you should probably shut the fuck up about it and become a winner.
All right. So this legislature was established back in 1874, and 10 states followed suit. And these are the ones that we're probably still having trouble with: Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, Texas, Arkansas, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. It's just crazy. Do you guys, Vlad or Harley, have anything to say about the Mother's Day stories or anything like this?
No, but I think that this Confederacy thing is ridiculous. So it's still a legal holiday.
And I think it's South Carolina, right? I believe it was South Carolina that they actually, it's a holiday for state offices. Yes, it's a legal holiday. I believe in South Carolina.
Oh that's not right. That needs to get more coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why can't they have a day off? Why can't they take a bloody day off? We have it here. Like, I live in the province of Quebec, which hates the English-speaking rest of Canada, and we have Victoria Day in Ontario. The Queen Victoria. Here it's Jour de l'Art des Ormeaux. A Quebecois guy. So they'll take a day. They say, you know what? We want a long weekend in May. We need a reason. Let's just get a reason to have a long weekend.
And on the other side of the coin, though, I used to work at a surplus store, military surplus store in Moss Landing, and they used to sell the Nazi flags. They sell all the old German flags, and they all these people want to, remember what happened, and then what do you call it? The reenactment people,
right? And
doing all that, and so they get all the costumes and all the stuff to go out and do reenactments. They always know who's going to lose.
Right.
But right. It's like they keep doing these reenactments, and then they keep supplying those that and move into that space to support the Hitler group or the SS or whatever. They have all the costumes and everything to wear, and it's crazy. But they want to preserve history, and then so those people that fought for the Confederacy, were Americans that got sucked up into stupidity of our country and the lay of the land, and And then, do we not honor these people? Do we not take the time to pay respect to the dead that kind of got bamboozled into the whole deal? Probably. We've all seen those videos of the Civil War where the brothers fighting against brothers.
Well, I mean, maybe we could stop this if we actually did reenact. If we had a federal holiday where we reenacted the Civil War and we burnt Atlanta to the ground again. If every year we burned us, that would be a true reenactment. As we kill 1 million Southerners and burn fucking Atlanta to the ground. Then we'd see how many times they'd want to reenact that shit. I don't think it would be very often.
Very, very nice. Anybody have a response to that?
I'm free on Thursday.
Okay, so here's an expression from my father. He likes to say beating a dead horse. So trumping a dead horse in Arizona. What's up with this audit in Arizona? The Arizona Senate is paying $150,000 for the audit to be conducted by a private Florida-based company, Cyber Ninjas, that has never done anything like this before and isn't certified by the federal government to test voting systems. Anyway, it's all about Maricopa County, more than 45,000 votes. Anyway, so what do you guys got to say about all that? I mean, the election's over? It's 3 months ago, 4 months ago. What's going on, guys?
This is the Benghazi Hillary's emails. This is the new one. Remember, we had 4,000. We had 4,000 Benghazi investigations, and we screened for 8 years about Hillary's emails. This is the new one. They've invented a new one out. They're going to recount the Arizona election until we've colonized Mars. That's what they're going to do. And they're going to sweep Trump's, you know what I mean? They're going to sweep Trump's dead corpse of 500 years back into office once they recount this. It's just pure stupidity. It's an exercise to keep their base energy high. That they have to have something to rage against. And Biden's doing such a good job. There's nothing. They're trying to blame Biden for the gas prices going up. Biden, I guess he's the one that broke into this pipeline during the night at midnight. He snuck over and broke the pipeline or broke into their computer network. None of that's his fault. So they have to drum up something, and they're going to keep this going in Arizona. And what gets me is, let's say they recounted and it came out Trump won Arizona. He still lost the election. That's how stupid they are. Even if he won Arizona, Trump still lost the election. That's how dumb these people are.
What is the bamboo thing I've been hearing about? They're looking for traces of bamboo on the paper of the mail-in ballots, and if they find them, that means they came from China?
Yes. Well, because in China, you can't vote directly. You have to get a panda bear with a bamboo straw to.
The TV said nobody's watching. You said I could do that.
There's noise.
I just muted Michael.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I tried to track that down, Vlad, and I could find nothing legitimate on what you're saying. So that's all is you have to have a panda with a bamboo stick vote for you in China. So that's how they're connecting the two together.
I wonder how much they could use that money for that isn't a big waste of time investigation, you know?
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is being used. There's a good amount of people working. A lot of people who are otherwise unemployable are being employed.
Okay. You're creating jobs with your stupid investigation.
Exactly.
That's how the Republicans operate.
It is. That's creating jobs, right? That's perfect.
A lot of government. A lot of government does that. That's the way of the government.
And the military.
Just get the whole state together. They'll make mud pies outside, get paid for it.
Move this pile of dirt from over and then move it back, you know?
Yeah, just go back and forth all day.
Yeah, the bamboo traces. That's crazy. All right, so what are we moving on to next? Let's see. So we just talked about the oil. So Biden's new nickname, his superhero name is called the Dark Side now, and he's stealing gigabytes from everybody and stealing their oil. And the White House said Tuesday, late yesterday, that Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency and Department of Energy are working with industry on guidelines to secure critical infrastructure recommendations to reduce the likelihood of future incidents. Biden suggested improving improving the and using the Cybersecurity Industrial Control Systems Cybersecurity Initiative. I don't know what that is, but there's got to be some sort of cybersecurity initiative that they already have in place. So, what do you guys have to say about all that? I think it's good that they're gonna. Infrastructure and fixing the issues with cybersecurity. I mean, it's a given that it should happen. And, all these spies are trying to figure out, the best ways to shut down America and shut down, the next big thing. We just got to keep fixing it. You're a patent guy, Vlad. I mean, have you dealt with any of this type of stuff?
I think our channel has already been breached. I mean, I'm hearing some resonance going on and in the background.
The Michael Houston thing.
Yeah, CIA is already onto us, so we might as well just be yourself, really.
That wasn't me.
Well, the company that was breached was a private company. So the government isn't responsible for protecting that private company, which leads to the whole idea that maybe private companies performing these infrastructure type projects should not be performing them. Maybe that should be the job of government, because
absolutely.
And I'm going to say that was something Harley dropped in my ear during the discussion, is that now they're trying to blame Biden. It isn't Biden or the government's job to protect that private company. That's like saying Google has been breached and that's somehow the government's fault. That it's not. So maybe we shouldn't be farming these out to the good old boy network and to these private companies, and this should be a government that would create jobs in the government. Let's do that, and let's let the government.
Sounds very socialist.
Yes,
government. Yes,
I would like to address my friend Anthony. Anthony, I completely agree with you that these private companies, as a military man, you want major. You want the officer class running the thing. I mean, what would these amateurs do? Oh, they do it for money. All right, I take back the amateur part. All right, I give up.
That was Michael Houston, everybody. He's calling in. He's calling in. Michael, are you going to show us on the video or not today?
I could do that if I'm watching Rachel Maddow, and my wife would kill me.
Yeah, I'm really big on government owning those kind of services. I really think that the government should have control of like oil pipelines and stuff like that. That shouldn't be something we leave to the private sector.
That's a very good one. The whole concept of voting that should be from responsible citizenry, strangely enough, got up to the FCC, and the airwaves belong to all of us. And then suddenly Fox News said, why bother? Just let us do pure propaganda forever.
Right.
So now we're really crazy. My new thing is Don Quixote, because Don Quixote apparently spent all his time reading chivalrous literature, otherwise known as watching YouTube nowadays, and becoming a QAnon lunatic, very dangerous on the streets, killing people, run around, excuse me, I won't use bad language, but help me with this one. Can our minds be removed from our highest ideals to the most dangerous stuff imaginable? Yeah. Oh, sorry, I answered that by mistake.
Michael. Repeat that, Michael. Repeat it one more time.
So Don Quixote was became very interested in chivalrous literature. So this is about pure love, nobility. Apparently the peasants are mindless idiots, which it would indicate that they actually correspond closer to the insecure retired soldier, like our Anthony, who has been compelled to find some way to get into the media. In Anthony's case, stepping away from being a professional galley slave to becoming a stand-up comedian. And God bless him, like creativity is beautiful. In the Don Quixote story, as we are told from Broadway, it's about following the impossible dream. And in fact, the author is saying, don't do this. This is flipping nuts. This guy actually watched every crazy YouTube conspiracy theory imaginable, and then went out to enforce it, like somebody approaching the Capitol on January 6th with the intent of killing policemen or taking on the national police in Spain of Cervantes' period. Just a thought.
In fact, one of the, I don't remember the name of the congressman at this point, but today he was claiming that Ashley Babbitt, the one that she was executed, which I found is odd, because when an unarmed black man is shot for no reason, they never say he was executed by the police. But Ashley Babbitt was executed by the police for trying to lead an insurrection in the Capitol after she had trespassed with people with weapons and they had potentially killed others. So I just thought there has to be a point in time where America as a whole says, if you say certain crazy things, you will be removed from public life. We're going to put you in a room with all the other crazy shits and you can just live there.
There you go, Anthony, you and your lying media. Didn't you see the congressman explain that it was just another day of tourism?
Today he said that. Today.
Yes.
7 days, but just another day at the office.
That's right. Yeah. Well, she'll never forget that tourist stop.
This is working as intended.
That's right. Hopefully she got the photo like on the roller coaster as a bullet hitter.
Oh, we got the photos and I think she's now floating down the Ganges towards Nirvana.
Yes.
Oh, she couldn't afford firewood either? God help her.
Hey, so I want to do this segue now. Michael Houston is a contributor to the Foolish Times. Normally, Steve Protus is on the call. He's the publisher of this Foolish Times. We also have a little ad in here that they sponsored. And then inside here, talking to comics, they have a little section there about Anthony Torino, who's on the call tonight. And so they interviewed him. So check it out. Pick up the Foolish Times. And thank
hold on, Jay.
Yes, sir.
You're not doing anybody justice here. Turns out that Anthony is a really noble, decent human being. Now,
I'm shocked.
In our men's group, meaning the place where we can't get any women to join us, are we like elderly Republicans? I mean, it happened, or young, Well, actually, we just have to preserve ourselves for, like saints and martyrs, right? Or virgins and martyrs. Wait a minute, like the women get to be the martyrs now, and we're the friggin' virgins. That's not anyway. So Anthony comes off as a really good person. Got very interested in finding ways to help people through therapy, physical and otherwise. And now he's figured out that, art heals. God love him. Well done, comrade.
And Michael, I thank you for saying that. But I would also say, and I said this for 25 years in a therapy profession, therapy done correctly is an art, not a science. And I truly believe that by using group therapy to heal people physically, I was always doing seminars and presentations and keynote speaking. And I always said that the difference between a good therapist and a bad therapist is they are an artist. So I always believe that.
I always said that as a second grade teacher for 30 years.
Exactly. So
Yeah, it's human fulfillment, connecting. And what I'm doing is helping people publish these days. And I've said it, it's not funny, but I take people from depression, suicidal, to being flippin' prima donnas like us. I don't know why more of them don't join the group, but you're lucky because we'd never get a word in.
Exactly.
All right, let's send it over to Vlad. Vlad, you have any comments about any of this?
I have news from the Eastern European Front. Stuff we should be keeping an eye on. There is a war brewing between Ukraine and Russia and Turkey, and we should be keeping an eye on that zone and hoping that it de-escalates, because Turkey is trying to get into the Ukraine and establish bases there, and Russia is not liking it, and Russia is making wartime kind of moves at this point right now. This is a month old. And it's not reported on the American media. I've been, they don't talk about it even on BBC. You have to go to Al Jazeera for this kind of stuff.
Right.
The reason I know this is I listen to Russian talk radio at night before going to sleep. I put on the Moscow Talks, and I listen to that just to be in touch with what's going on.
Who doesn't, Vlad? Who doesn't listen to
doesn't?
Russian?
I mean, everybody should. Everybody should. And you should hear their commercials.
The Guardian covers this stuff, and my son is in a different country, and I'm not going to say which one because it has a repressive government, and I don't want him get dragged into all this stuff. But the Turkey is also offering to support its fellow Muslims in Palestine, Israel. And you think, right. I saw this in the National Lampoon, 1964. Every Muslim country was in support of the battle to the death against Israel. And the degrees were decided by how far out of range you were from Israeli forces. So the Jordanians and whatnot, let's all kind of chill out here. And horrible, sad news going on in the Levant, and the Putin stuff just drives me nuts. It's very, and the guy that he's killing has a track record of being anti-Islamic himself. He's
you mean Navalny?
Yeah, I mean, like kind of wild.
That's another pooch screw right there. They're using some exotic penal law clause that they've only used like 8 times. It's inciting a cult. And this is a two-edged kind of sword. First of all, they can put him away for life. And second of all, anyone who believes Navalny's ethos or philosophy, they're crazy in the head. They need to be sent away. This is the old Soviet weapons. Right. This is, I've seen this before.
Vlad, just to join you real quick. There's a nice woman, and her name is like Lottery Winner, and she's done like 7 years in the slammer for leaking that the Russians really were playing in the U.S. elections.
Right.
And so she's still inside as we speak.
I hear that's a reality.
I think it is. If you've ever been imprisoned, it becomes sort of mystic, except you notice that the walls are real and the doors don't open, and your company is when they let you out in the yard. So yeah. And I think democracy and due process, flawed as it is, beats the bejesus out of whatever Trump or Putin or Erdogan. I have a friend, an Irish friend, right, and she reckons that Erdogan is the evilest person in the world. And that's a competitive spot.
Yep.
Arvin, you have anything to say about that?
No.
I think I might be a little out of my depth.
That's horrible enough.
Harley, go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest. I got lost. I didn't even know what we were talking about anymore.
Sorry. All right, we were doing bad stuff. The Russians are planning to invade the Ukraine again. It's the Turks have offered to ally, and which is scary because there's a lot of them too. I knew Turks 40 years ago, and it was a secular country that had Islam, and they were like, I knew an engineer at Cal. I mean, we were undergrads, and he was a hell of a nice guy and totally sane. Now this Erdogan got himself elected some 20 years ago, saying, I believe in democracy. We have been repressed. And now he's in total control. And so he's like Putin. So Turkey, like Trump wants to be. Yes.
So Turkey's going into Ukraine, which to my knowledge is occupied by Russia?
No, talking. Parts of the eastern part has been invaded. That whenever the Russian economy and politics look bad, Putin rattles sabers and gets people excited and has a big army for a land war. And NATO is thinking like, we've got a COVID thing going on and kind of really like to keep people as close to middle class incomes and comfort, and it's kind of expensive to have these crazy wars. Meanwhile, Turkey, which has a very military dictatorships and other ones, don't really watch out for the economy very well. Egypt, for an example, but we can move on to Colombia or anywhere else you want. And it gets very, very worrisome. And so as I open my last article, the whole world is in a state of chassis, which is a Dublin way of saying, oh, crisis or something. Oh, it's hard to tell.
Okay, I don't know much about the East, but it was nice getting a little toe dip into that, even though I had no idea what was going on there.
On it goes, yeah. But what little I know is I now get my shoes from Vietnam. And if I'm not mistaken, Anthony probably had to go there and shoot people or whatever.
Absolutely. We made shoes out of those people.
But yeah.
Right.
Now they sell us fish full of the stuff we sprayed.
Exactly.
It is.
It's a circle of life. It's a circle of life.
The great circle of life. Paraquat on your pot when you live in the 70s, and now the clinic is paying for your schools.
That's right.
Crazy.
Right. So since we're talking about overseas news and media, let's get into what happened over in Jerusalem and in Israel. Marvin, you wanna take this over since you're our World Peace Spark? You had some things to say in the beginning of the show before we started airing. You have a take on what's going on, because a lot of crazy's been going on over there.
Well, I don't know why the Palestinians started to send the missiles over to Israel. I have no idea.
Oh, I do. They're squabbling over the third most sacred, the Temple Mount is number 3 on the list of Islamic holy places. And the deal was, when the Brits bailed, everybody gets free access, Christians, Jews, Muslims, whoever, Buddhists, and that deal's getting slipped. Meanwhile, you know how the kibbutz system sound like? It's great. We hang in there together. Now, under the more right wing, if there is, part of the Netanyahu world, when they're about to go on their 4th election at least, and to play to the right where he is anyway. He's saying, by the way, we're going to give away apartments where Palestinians have long been living, and the more you know about the Middle Eastern world, going back a few thousand years, say 4 at least, a lot of people have been living in these places. David's temple was probably a tent, and later on they moved up from that stage to the other. And so there you've got people who die. Would you die for Ireland? And you go, no. Well, I had a lot of friends back in the day who were only too happy to take on the British Army and think, this is absolutely. So yeah, people are very angry. The leadership of these movements, and be it Zionist or Islamic, have people ready to young folks mostly, ready to throw their lives away. And if there aren't good opportunities, they're still more inclined. So the squabbling over the apartments and the land and access to the temples set off the political folks, who are very opportunistic, I assure you, to shoot off the missiles. The Israeli armed forces responded. 3 people or 4 died so far in Israel, and I think we're at 30 or 40 in the Gaza, which is very unfair. And you think, where's Rodney King? Can't we all just get along? And the answer is, should, but don't.
And especially where religion's involved, I think probably the solution is to drop a nuke on those religious sites and just completely obliterate them. Then they can't fight over them. The idea that some imaginary being gave you right to some land, I'll need to see the title on that land or the deed on that. This has been going on forever. It's never going to end. We exacerbated the situation by taking Palestinian land and giving it to Israelis. People lived in that land, and the fight will continue forever. So at some point, people are going to have to decide, do I want to believe in horse shit? Do I want to believe in religion, which has no basis in reality? Or do I want to actually base my decision-making in reality with human beings sitting across from me and learn to get along? Or do I want to be divided by an imaginary asshole who is a mass murderer and fucked and raped a child to have his self? Let's find better gods, smarter gods. Let's find better religious imaginary people.
Hold on. I just want to get back to the story of Job. Oh,
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that while I'm not like a religious person myself, I do think it's a little rough how you keep dogging on them for religion. I mean, I understand what they're doing is wrong. They shouldn't be fighting back and forth over religion. But I don't think, just saying, oh, well, it's just their religion, it's stupid and they shouldn't believe in it. I think that's a bit unfair. I think there's arguments you can make that there is a God out there for things that can't be explained. I mean, because you can always make the argument, well, it's beyond reason, and so you don't know. Again, I'm not religious. This is just kind of like a devil's advocate argument. But I do genuinely believe this. I don't think that you should be just saying, well, get a better God. Because it is a traditional thing. It's been passed down for a long time. And if that's what they want to believe in, and if it's not explainable, like if there's no other way to explain what's going on, then what's the harm,
The harm is...
Harley, hold on. Okay. You do.
Yeah, the harm is these people have been fighting over religion since it started. So they have killed millions and millions of people over these fake religions. All of them are fake. All of them are invented. We should at least evolve our religious figures. God, the whole Christian religion and all religions in general were invented to explain things that people couldn't explain at that time. They were worshiping the sun. They were worshiping this and that because they couldn't explain why there was night and day. Now we can explain why there's night and day. Eventually, we'll be able to understand more things as we evolve. But if we left it up to religious figures, we would not evolve. If we left it up to religious figures in this country, if we left it up to Christians, you would be stepping over dead homosexuals every day when you walked outside.
Wait, we're already walking on dead slaves and immigrants, so to be kind here.
Right.
Now, I just want to remind you, just for a brief instant, that many people think that the end of the world will have something to do with the great powers, but this is not the Buddhist approach, because that alleviates suffering and transcend. Well, actually, in India, the Buddhists that my friends that go to India they're planning the war against Islam to be the end of the world. We thought it was going to happen in Israel and it was going to be us and Satan. Oh, right. No. Then you find out that no, it's not the Buddhists and Islam. It's the Hindus, for fuck's sake, you know nothing about modern history. And you go, yeah, I don't know. The warning is in South Park. As always, yes. When Carmen found out about that PC2, he freezes himself for a couple hundred years, goes into the future, and the atheist states are about to destroy the cosmos because they've got heretics. to speed up a little bit, when Augustine became the emperor, suddenly the Malavians, the army, the goat religion, I think they killed the great goat or something, or the great bull killer. They were no longer the state religion. So they'd been crucifying flipping Christians, and suddenly, guess what the Christians want to do? Nanny, we get to crucify you guys. Holy smokes. I just want to point out that the religious wars of Europe after Martin Luther King, 300 short years, and a third of the population of the place died. But, things can heat up. We don't know the future yet, but I hope it's good. I'm with Anthony.
Vlad,
you,
Well,
you got come to the table.
Righty then. So, they're killing each other. Yeah, they are. They are all killing each other. But what if it's about money? And religion is just being used to explain it, but it's about money. Let's say one guy strong arms another guy out of a business, and happens to be of a different kind of whatever imaginary man in the sky they pray to. So oh, those guys, they took my business away, they sabotaged me, they tricked me, and those guys, they always do that. Yeah, those guys, we know. Yeah, listen, let me tell you about that. My friend, he had the same experience. And it goes on and on and on.
Lad, you've gone from being a godless communist to a godless capitalist. Have you never heard of Bertolt Brecht? That
Look, these guys.
Communism is
money.
about man exploiting man, whereas capitalism is the reverse. Oh shit! Same thing, isn't it? Yeah. Yes. Good points.
But the thing is that it's a question of you need to feed the poorer, you need to feed the hungry dogs, because if you don't feed the hungry dogs, they will come after your children.
Wait a minute, they let the Irish starve during the famine of 1848, and they just destroyed the rest of the world.
You guys are special. You guys are, England, with how many million soldiers, couldn't keep Ireland? With 80,000 soldiers, they took India. But Ireland, they just...
Well, they certainly created a lot of prostitutes.
Well, but still, the Irish spirit is different. That doesn't count. We're talking about, 9 Irish.
Slavic mystics. We know about you.
Yes.
God.
But anyways, I'm just...
Self-interest, Machiavelli, all that nasty stuff. It's all in the game. And will we ever wise up? I hope so. At least 4 of us have tonight.
Yes.
Sort of.
Yes.
It'll take
we'll vote our conscience too. And I'll be there at the front ranks until the police attack, and then I'll be gone with the rest of Bohemians, watching the poor kids get the bejesus beaten out of them. Again.
So
Jay, can we go back to the transgender thing for Harley at some point?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, let's do that. What do you want to talk about right there?
Well, I've been reading this and watching this, and Harley and I have been discussing it some. And I want to give a little story. I was a Special Olympic coach for 3 years. I coached powerlifting, and I coached basketball. Our Special Olympic basketball team had to play another Special Olympic basketball team. They had a kid on their team that scored 73 points on us, right? And his team only scored 75. So he scored 70. I had 4 of my Special Olympians guard that one kid. It turned out that kid was an all-state basketball player for the regular high school team, but he was in special ed. So because he was in special education, he qualified to be in the Special Olympics. Should that kid be competing with Special Olympic kids? You see what I'm saying? This isn't a new issue, okay? And when they're saying that transgender women cannot compete with other Harley makes the great point, and it's true, and I could not find an article that shows this, is when you're taking this medication that reduces your testosterone, you're at the equivalent of a female person that was born that way. And here's the other thing. Why do we give a shit?
Exactly.
It's supposed to be about competing against each other, whether it be man on man, man on woman, woman on man, whatever gender. The whole purpose of sports in school, this was my master's thesis, is we should eliminate schools playing other schools. Because what we're trying to do, we're a factory to produce professional athletes and produce money, have everyone participate in sports, and have it homeroom versus homeroom. I was an exceptional athlete. I learned zero tolerance for bad athletes. I was vicious to bad athletes because I never had to play with bad athletes. If I'd had to play with the nerds in my class that couldn't play sports, which is what I ended up doing in my profession, I'd have learned patience and tolerance. So we need, if we want to mix the teams, man against man, man against woman, transgender, it doesn't matter. The point is participation. That's the point, the socialization and participation. So if the special ed kid can play on the Special Olympics team, of course, a transgender woman should be able to play on the women's team. Of course.
Well, and that's especially true for high school sports. I mean, they're passing bills right now that allow like coaches and teachers to basically like pull down your pants and check what you got.
Yes.
And that's not okay. It's a high school sport. I understand that you can get this and that because you perform well, but it's high school sports.
Yes.
How many people go past high school sports into whatever?
Less than 1%. Less
And
than,
hardly that goes on at the same rate when you get to university as well.
Yes.
So, and by the way, when it comes to passing a bill, that poor guy in Minnesota really got fucked. The guy with the 20.
I'm not familiar. If you could elaborate.
Oh, Black Lives Matter was about this guy had a $20 bill, and they had to put their knee on his
Oh, yeah,
neck.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
It was about a bill, not
Yeah.
a legislation.
Yeah, because he tried passing a counterfeit bill.
We could
Yeah.
try to close on that right now. We can try to get into that. The federal. Before we do, Vlad, do you have anything, or Marvin
No.
on
Do
any of
you
these
think-
last
do you-
topics?
Can we print money?
Do you
can
think
print as much as
that
you
this
want.
guy really
There's
knew
this
that?
Irish guy. He was head of the IRA, and he's up in Northern Ireland, and he's got North Korean 20s or hundreds, and he's passing them like crazy. And my friend, the economist, says he actually should have got some sort of a Medal of Honor from the U.S.
Michael, Marvin was about to have.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm ill-behaved.
Did you think that George Floyd knew that $20 bill was counterfeit?
I have no idea.
I don't
Probably
think
not.
so.
Why not? I have a friend who was collecting